We think we know what patience is. It's the long wait in a line that barely moves. It's the quiet frustration while sitting in traffic. It's the forced smile we wear when things just don't go our way. We're told from a young age to be patient. Those words often feel like a command to simply endure, to hold back our annoyance, to accept a delay without complaint. But, this version of patience is passive. It's something that happens to us. A test of our ability to do nothing when we'd rather be doing anything else. It's seen as a weakness, a quiet surrender. But what if this common understanding is wrong? What if patience isn't about the waiting at all? True patience is not a passive state of enduring hardship. It's an active strength, a deliberate choice. It's the quiet confidence that our efforts are adding up, even when we can't see any immediate proof. Real patience isn't about sitting still. It's about moving forward with purpose, trusting that each small step matters. It's the farmer who plants a seed and tends the soil, knowing the harvest won't come tomorrow, but that it will come. It's the artist staring at a blank canvas, adding one brushstroke at a time. They don't see a masterpiece after the first stroke, or even the 100th. They trust the process. It's the student who spends hours studying a difficult subject, not for the single test, but for the understanding that builds slowly over time. They believe in the cumulative power of their work. The world today, it pushes us in the opposite direction. It screams for speed, for instant results, for overnight success. But this rush comes at a cost. It creates anxiety, burnout, and that feeling of constant failure. We chase shortcuts and find only dead ends. The real path to anything meaningful is almost always longer than we expect. And it requires a virtue we've forgotten how to practice. Imagine you want to change your life. You want to become healthier. You want to become wiser. You want to become more skilled. The goal feels enormous, like a distant mountain you could never hope to climb. The sheer size of it paralyzes you. So, you do nothing. You wait for a burst of motivation that never arrives. You tell yourself that one day you'll start, when you have more time, more energy, more courage. But that one day is a myth. It's really just an excuse we use to stay exactly where we are, trapped by the weight of our own ambitions. The obstacle isn't the mountain, it's the first step. Now consider a different approach, a simpler one. Forget the mountain for a moment. Just focus on the next 20 minutes. You don't have to run a marathon. Just put on your shoes and walk for 20 minutes. You don't have to write a book. Just open a document and write for 20 minutes. You don't have to master an instrument. Just pick it up and practice for 20 minutes. This is the 20-minute rule. It's small. It's manageable. It's possible. 20 minutes isn't intimidating. It's a tiny slice of your day, a block of time that's easy to find. The magic isn't in the duration, but in the consistency. Doing something for 20 minutes every single day creates a powerful momentum. The first day might feel insignificant. So might the second and the third. But soon, a chain begins to form. Each 20-minute session links to the one before it. The effort starts to compound. You're no longer waiting to start, you're already on your way. This is patience in action. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating a process you can trust. The 20-minute rule transforms an overwhelming goal into a simple daily practice. It shifts your focus from the distant, intimidating outcome to the immediate, controllable action. This is how real change happens. Not in a single heroic leap, but in hundreds of small, patient, and deliberate movements. It's a mindset shift from I can't to I can for 20 minutes. Patience, then, is not the art of waiting. It's the art of trusting. It's a deep and abiding faith in the process itself. It's the belief that consistent, focused effort will eventually lead to the desired result, even when the path is long and the progress is invisible. It's the quiet confidence of the stonemason who strikes the rock 100 times without seeing a crack, yet knows the 101st blow might split it in two. Think of it like growing a forest. You can't plant a sapling and expect a mighty oak tree the next morning, for weeks, months, even years. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading deep into the earth, creating a foundation. Above the ground, the trunk is slowly thickening, adding rings of strength that are hidden from view. The process is happening, silently and steadily. To an impatient observer, it looks like stagnation, But to the one who trusts the process, it's growth. It's inevitable progress. We often see time as an enemy, something to be conquered or outrun. We want to get to the finish line as fast as possible. But in doing so, we miss the entire point of the journey. True patience sees time as an ally. It's the essential ingredient that allows things to develop, to mature, and to strengthen. Trying to rush only leads to weak and fragile outcomes. While others burn out chasing quick fixes, the patient person builds something that lasts. They're playing the long game. They understand that greatness isn't a sudden event, but a gradual accumulation of small, disciplined actions. Consider the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. A farmer plants a seed, he waters it, he tends to the soil. A full year passes, and nothing appears above the surface. Another farmer, one who seeks instant rewards, might give up. He'd plant something that grows quickly. But the bamboo farmer is different. The second year comes and goes. Still nothing. The third year passes. The fourth year passes. To an outsider, the farmer looks like a fool. They don't understand that the most important work is happening where no one can see it. Then, sometime during the fifth year, everything changes. A tiny sprout finally breaks through the soil. And once it does, the growth is explosive. The bamboo shoot can grow up to 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. What was once an empty field is now a dense forest. The true growth was happening all along. For 5 years, the bamboo was building its foundation. The farmer's patience wasn't passive waiting. It was an active trust in this hidden process. You know, we live in a culture that really celebrates the sprint. We're captivated by stories of overnight success, viral sensations, but in doing so, we kind of forget that anything truly meaningful is not a sprint. It's a marathon. The marathon runner, they've got a completely different mindset. Their goal isn't a quick victory, but sustained progress. They have to pace themselves. It's the patience to endure the discomfort of the middle miles, when the initial excitement has faded and the finish line still feels like a distant dream. But the marathoner, they know this is all part of the journey. They keep putting one foot in front of the other, trusting that each step is bringing them closer to their goal. Life's most important goals, they're marathons. Building a career, raising a family, mastering a skill. These are not short races. The person who adopts the marathoner's mindset, well, they keep going. In fact, they embrace it. In ancient Greece, there lived a young man named Demosthenes with one burning goal, to become the greatest orator in Athens. But wow, he faced enormous obstacles. He had a weak voice. He suffered from a debilitating stammer. When he first tried to speak in public, he was laughed off the stage. He refused to be defined by his weaknesses. He committed to a process of painstaking improvement. He spoke with pebbles in his mouth. He shouted over the roar of the ocean waves. Eventually, he returned. He was a changed man. His voice was strong and clear. He became the most celebrated orator of his time. His story is not one of natural talent, but of relentless, patient effort. Look at the Great Wall of China. It stretches for thousands of miles. One of the most awe-inspiring achievements in human history. The Great Wall was not built all at once. It was built one stone at a time. It was built by countless workers over many centuries. One person's job was to quarry a stone. Another's was to haul it up a mountain. Another's was to lift it into place. None of these workers ever saw the finished wall. Each individual contribution seemed insignificant. But each stone was essential. The secret is to stop looking at the wall and start looking for the next stone. What is the one small, manageable action you can take right now? Lay that stone, and then lay the next one. Patience is not just for grand historic achievements. It is a practical skill that shapes the quality of our everyday lives. The patient driver understands a different reality. They accept that traffic is a condition beyond their control. They are choosing peace over frustration. The impatient person fidgets, sighs. The patient person accepts the pause. They might strike up a conversation. In each instance, we have a choice. We can declare war on the moment, or we can find a quiet strength within it. By practicing patience in the mundane, we are forging the character required for life's bigger challenges. The greatest journeys are often derailed before they even begin. They are crushed by the sheer weight of their own ambition. To build true patience, you must first learn how to start. The most practical strategy for this is the 20-minute rule. Your only task is to commit to just 20 minutes of focused effort. The magic of the 20-minute rule is how it builds momentum. As you connect one day to the next, the chain grows stronger. You are building a habit. In your journey of patience, you need an anchor point, a core reason, a deep-seated why that holds you steady. You don't just want to get in shape, you want the energy to be present for your children. That is your anchor. You don't just want to save money, you want the freedom and security. That is your anchor. Once you have identified your anchor point, you really need to keep it visible. Write it down. Practice zooming out. Looking back often reveals progress that was invisible in the moment. True patience is not about waiting, it's about choosing. It is an active, deliberate decision to place your faith in the unwavering power of the process itself. The work is the cause. Growth is the effect. The harvest will come. It's as reliable as gravity. Patience wins. It wins because it is aligned with the fundamental way the world works. It wins because it builds things that last. Embrace this power. See it not as the art of waiting, but as the art of actively trusting in the slow, steady, and beautiful process of growth. Start with 20 minutes. Trust the process. And have faith that over the long arc of your life, your patient efforts will build something truly remarkable. A life you can be proud of. A legacy that endures.